What's good, y'all? It's O.D.D.I.T.Y, and welcome to the craft.
Some just do it for the cash, others do it for the passion. Is you working on your craft? Is you really about that action? The craft. Welcome.
If you are really serious about your craft, avoid going to the studio unprepared. And what I mean by that is, make sure that you have your delivery in the way that you want your verses and your hooks and your layers and every element of your song to sound. Make sure you know how you want it to sound, because if you're spending money by the hour, which most studios are, and you are expecting to go there and basically create the song there, you're wasting a lot of money and a lot of time that could be used elsewhere. Let me give you an example. Let me give you a story that from an experience that I have. I was one time asked to feature on a song for an artist. So I met them at the studio where they were recording, and there was, I think, one or two other artists on the song. It was kind of a longer song, and I am very professional when it comes to studio time. I like to make sure that I'm prepared and I have how I want everything to sound. So when I go in there, it only takes me 1, 2, 3 takes to knock it out typically. So I go to this studio. There's kind of like a lounge area. I'm sitting and waiting my turn. The other artists are going, but I quickly noticed that most of them aren't prepared. And what I mean by that is they're reading off their phones, which isn't a big deal because depending on, some people prefer reading off the phones. But my thing is, if you're reading off the phone and you're not saying with emotion, you're not, the delivery's not there, it's gonna come out in the recording. So on top of reading off the phones, I could tell that they hadn't really figured out the type of delivery they wanted, and they hadn't gone over the ad-libs. It was kind of creating as they go, which there's nothing wrong with that, but if you're paying by the hour, I personally want to be prepared, and I don't want to be just trying to create on the fly, because that's how you half-ass, and that's how you have regrets after it's recorded and mixed, and so you ultimately end up spending more money if you're not ready and prepared when you hit the studio. So I'm watching them record. I'm watching the frustration between not only the artist recording, but the recording engineer, because it's run it back. Let me try this. Let me try that. Guys, that can all be avoided by just being prepared and spending that prep work before you go to the studio. I personally, whether it's my own song or a verse that I'm doing for someone else, I record demo versions at home, and I play with deliveries. I play with different layers that I want, ad-libs. And while it might not be 100% exactly how I'm going to do it in the studio, it's probably 90 to 95% how I'm going to do it. And then I leave that, 5 to 10% room for creativity when I go in the studio to add things that I might have thought of on the spot, because I've listened to it over and over and over again. And so I can enhance it with those little boosts instead of just trying to create everything on the spot. My personal advice is not to plan studio time before you've perfected the song. I used to do this, and this is not, a holier than thou conversation. This is more so my experience now versus when I was starting out, 10 years ago, even, 5 years ago. I've grown a lot, and I've realized you can't just write a verse and then go to the studio the next day. You need some time to record it or say it out loud. I like to record it because saying it out loud, for me, I don't get that same feel of how it sounds when it sits with the beat. So I like to record it and then listen to it in the car, listen to it in the headphones. Think of, maybe I could come a little harder on the end of this line, or maybe I could add this ad lib or this type of dub underneath, layers. So typically before I ever go to the studio, it's been months, probably 1, 2, 3 months, depends, that I've sat with that song and that I've mastered how I'm going to deliver it when I go to the actual studio. So it's not a race to see, like, I write this verse and then I record it and get the song out. If you really care about the craft and if you care about your art, it's a process. And I've grown to enjoy the process of refining my verses and solidifying the delivery, and not just in the verses but the hooks. I might record a hook a certain way and then listen to it for a couple weeks, and I might just totally change how I delivered it. Going back to the example or the story that I gave you. So after everyone had recorded their verses, which I also was a little frustrated in the fact that I didn't know that people weren't prepared, and I thought I was gonna, when I got there, was just gonna come in and get to record mine first. But regardless, I had to sit there. It took, I would say, an hour and a half to 2 hours to get everybody's verses. And this is just a verse, right? I mean, this isn't waiting to record a whole song. This is everyone getting their verses. And so when it's my turn, I had sat there patiently. I walked up to the mic, and I think it took me 2 takes. And the reason it even took me 2 takes is because I didn't like how, I think I had fumbled on one word or something. But it took me 2 takes. I got it exactly how I wanted. And that's because I had recorded it at home in a demo version and just listened to it and refined it. So everybody kind of looked at me crazy, like, dang, how did you do that so fast? But like, I take the craft serious, and I expect when I go to the studio, whether it's for myself or a feature, that everyone involved takes it seriously. So that's kind of why I'm selective with features now, because I want to make sure that that same professionalism is there, and that same the same want to be great is there. So really, to sum it all up, just make sure that you are prepared when you go to the studio. Don't half-ass it, because you will be given a product by by the mixing engineer or the recording engineer, whatever level you're on, and you can't blame whoever is recording you or mixing you for you not being prepared when you got there. These engineers can work a lot of magic, but what they cannot create is the delivery that you want. If it's an aggressive song, and you come real monotone and unconfident in your delivery, there's not anything that they can do. You just you're going to have to come spend more money and re-record it when you're ready, or you're just going to have to settle for a subpar song. So my advice would be, do not schedule recording time until you know your songs are ready to record. So I appreciate you all. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Craft. I'm O.D.D.I.T.Y. Again, check out the channel. Keep supporting. Hit like, subscribe, comment, share. And I got some new music coming for y'all, so be ready.